everybody, and welcome to Rage Bait, where it is a privilege. I am your host, CommanderAfter40, where we will be talking about what makes you boil. We are interviewing a special guest, Sensei from Popcorn and Bark Grind's YouTube channel. Welcome, Sensei.
Hello, hello. I would tip my hat, but you can't see it.
Today's episode is talking about men's gym wear. In particular, the question, are men sexier at the gym than women? Because men seem to be very, very upset with women's gym wear, also known as leisure wear.
What aren't men, upset about? And what I've learned is a lot of men are very sensitive.
Yes.
I don't think they were hugged enough.
I haven't really learned as men are. I'm sorry?
I don't think they were hugged enough when they were kids.
Oh, they're not hugged enough as kids? Yeah, probably. Or maybe they were hugged too much.
Yeah.
Because the common complaint about women's leisure wear is they show a little too much. I beg to differ, though. I think that men's athleisure wear is a little too much, or the lack thereof.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that I feel that if you, I guess depending on what you're wearing, what is considered to most men as too little. Is it skin tight wear? Is it shorts? Is it wearing a tennis skirt? Is it wearing a tank top, a tube top?
I've heard that both men and women seem to think that women go into the gym wearing only bikinis. I have yet to go to the gym and see a woman in a bikini, but I have seen men in short shorts, and I can tell you right now that the Franken beans are very obvious.
Little twig and berries.
Yeah, little twigs and berries.
Definitely
growers, not showers.
Speaking of, there is something that's swirling around on the internet called Teacher Bay. And basically it is or matter of fact, I do believe it's a few women that are wearing, some people called it club wear, but it is very revealing. It looks, as an adult looking at this woman, it looks very sexualized, very sexy, depending on who's talking about it. But a lot of men and women are upset because she's a teacher that teaches adolescent children. So
I see.
Yeah. So I think for me, because a lot of people have said, she can wear what she wants, they're there to learn. And other people have stated that it is a distraction. Yeah, I'm going to have to.
I've also heard that.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to show you a picture of as a reference later on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So basically, these parents, these men and these women, they're upset with this teacher for wearing what seems to be revealing as leisure wear at the school. I guess that's a little bit better than having the teachers complain about the girls wearing spaghetti strapped tank tops and saying they're being distracted. Instead, it's the students saying they're being distracted, or rather the adults saying they're being distracted.
I mean, when I was going to school,
they're paying attention.
When I was going to school, I mean, obviously us that were born in the, late 70s, early 80s, none of us were looking the way that children look now. I don't know if it has anything to do with the food or the water, but somebody had told me this once. And they said, the reason why the police mess with you is because of what you're wearing. And I said, what does me wearing maybe baggy jeans has to do with me needing to be accosted? Just like with women, I've heard this time and time again where, well, she wouldn't have got touched, unwelcomed, if she wasn't wearing, let's say, very revealing clothing. And I don't think that whatever you wear should warrant a forceful anything. You should be able to wear what you want. But when it's in an environment like the gym or school, does that change?
I would think that being that both places are meant to be for professional and for the ability to do what you need to do, they shouldn't be seen as anything more than what they are, which is clothes that cover your body and help you perform the task that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So these outfits that men and women alike are getting all upset about, I kind of wonder if it's a personal insecurity, because a lot of the times when you have a personal insecurity, you project that onto other people who are wearing or not wearing what you believe should be appropriate.
Mm-hmm. I think my opinion on the things that I just spoke about is you should be able to wear whatever you want to wear and not be treated a certain way based off of what you're wearing. But I think I'm a little conflicted when it comes to teachers, especially if they're in elementary school, wearing, let's say, skin tight clothing or very short skirts or, some type of halter top or tank top. Because I think when you're dealing with adolescent minds, that it is a distraction because they're no longer focused on the curriculum, they're focused on what you're wearing.
True, but that is also assuming that the child has reached that age of sexual awareness.
True.
I don't think children under 4th grade, for instance. I think 4th grade would probably be the limit, but it's not that children don't see it either. I have, in my own personal life, knew about sexuality at a very young age, not in an abusive way, just that I recognized the female form and the male form a lot earlier than, say, my current son. But at the same time, I wouldn't say I started discovering sexuality until I was in middle school. So exposing children to sexual images, especially nowadays, everything's saturated. It's a selling point at this day and age. I don't think children are fully aware until they are about ready to mature themselves. And that's where I think that becomes an issue.
I think it also depends on the child and what they've been exposed to also, because you're going to have some children that are just completely oblivious, but some children that are, aware, like you're saying that you were exposed to it at a very young age. I remember I was really young. I don't really remember what age, but I almost want to say that I was in the single digit, and I had found my dad's Playboy magazines. And I remember my mother arguing with my father about he should have hid them somewhere better, because I obviously found them. So I remember,
Right.
I remember specifically looking through this magazine and not knowing really what I was looking at, but I remember, I think it's LaToya Jackson, and she's laying there, naked as a jaybird, with the snake on her. You can actually Google and see the picture that I'm referencing. This was back in the 80s. And that has been burned.
And also, that was art back then.
Yeah. That image was burned into my brain. And I can't say that it really affected me as a child when it came to looking at a girl and being, thinking a sexual thought or anything like that. But me as an adult now looking back, I kind of wish that I didn't have that exposure. But also, how many children have had that type of exposure and it has affected them?
Right, I would agree with that. For me, as I was exposed to similar material, my stepdad at the time, he was keeping it in the bathroom. It was biker magazines.
Ooh.
So they were crude and had women who were rather large-chested. And one of my favorite stories my mom likes to tell me is when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I'd come running to her with these magazines. And I say, Mommy, are my boobs going to get that big? And she goes, No, sweetie, they're never going to get that big. And then I said, Good, it looks like it hurts.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's
and
diabolical.
She was so concerned I would have a...
She literally told you, no, you're going to have small ones. Sorry.
Basically.
Oh no. Yeah, my ex-wife, I remember having a conversation with her. I think we were in our mid to late 20s, maybe even 30s at this point. And she was talking about how she was treated because she had a large chest. And yeah, she did have a large chest. And we met in high school. And when I met her,
Mm.
she was in the ninth grade. I was in the 10th grade. And she was telling me all these things that had happened to her, um, from other boys, like grabbing both of her arms and like shaking her arms to make her boobs shake, or unwanted
Oh,
hugs or stuff like
gross.
that. Yeah. And that's a child being treated like that by another child, but also she's fully covered. She's not even wearing, so basically the whole clothing aspect of it kind of gets thrown out the window because she wasn't wearing anything like quote unquote sexy. She was just wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
Right. And the thing about athleisure wear as well, especially for men, is that these skin tight outfits, in essence, is meant to help maneuver and do the abilities that you're trying to achieve, like lifting a weight or pushing a dumbbell, those little weight things that you push with your legs.
Mm-hmm.
And, the idea that we want to hypersexualize these outfits is kind of odd, because if these teachers are now wearing these athleisure wears to school and it's getting a similar reaction from the parents, you have to ask yourself, well, what are these kids really being exposed to
Did
at
you see
home
the
if this
picture I
is a
sent?
concern?
So I do believe she's teaching, I think, junior high or high school.
Yeah, no, I would be a little concerned for not only the children's safety, but for her safety as well, because again, it's the male ego, I guess it is. And I understand this is not all men. We're going to put that out there right now. It's not all men. But when teenage boys are not raised to understand their sexuality and how to behave with it, having a teacher running around wearing something that should be just absolutely normal everyday athleisure wear doesn't look like athleisure wear to a teenage boy with hormones raging.
Correct. So that's why I feel the way that I feel, because I remember when I was in high school, I had this psychology teacher, and I don't know if she was aware of what she was wearing or not. She was an older woman, and she was not the quote unquote picture for beauty. She was an older woman. She might have been in her 50s or 60s. But one day she came to class wearing a see-through dress, and you could literally see her bra and underwear. And I remember sitting there the whole time thinking, this woman is out here teaching with her bra and underwear. I don't know if she realizes that or not. And I was kind of like, she might be able to get that. And I'm a child, right? I think I was like 16 at the time, maybe 17, because this was later years in high school. But it didn't have anything to do with her face. It wasn't skin tight, but it was see-through. And that little bit right there threw me off. And all of the kids were talking about it. Did you see Miss So-and-so? She's wearing a see-through dress. And yeah, that threw me off. So again, with this teacher bay, which is swirling around actually today, this is all over the internet. Men and women are upset about that. But I know about the gym wear. With gym wear, you don't want to wear loose clothing because it could get caught in the machine.
Right. It's a safety hazard.
Mm-hmm.
So you said it was teacher bay?
Teacher bay, correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at this.
And while you do that, I'll fill this gap of with the sexualization of everything is how else are you going to sell it?
Right? True.
Yeah, there's always some kind of controversy behind something, but at the same time, if you are a woman going and working, matter of fact, I do believe a few years ago, there was a woman that got kicked out of a gym. I think it was 24 Hour Fitness. I could be wrong. because it was a long time ago. And she was upset because they kicked her out because they said what she was wearing was inappropriate. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what's inappropriate about it? She's at the gym, you know, she's covered up. You're not seeing, you know, no body parts that would be deemed unacceptable publicly. She's working out. What's the problem? But they kicked her out.
Yeah. Okay, so I did find this YouTube video from Fox 26 Hudson from April 15, 25. Teacher attire criticized for distracting in school. Principal should set standards. It's not an article, it's a YouTube video. Which doesn't help much.
Yeah, I
maybe
saw
it'll
it
show
on.
a picture.
I just Googled Teacher Bay, Teacher BEA, and then a few things popped up. YouTube, TikTok.
Okay. So I see this teacher as attire. It's basically a skin tight dress, striped, and she's wearing kind of like a white sweater. Kind of like one of those little old-fashioned ladies' white sweaters over this.
I think those are called cardigans.
Tight dress. Yeah, cardigan. She's wearing a white cardigan over this striped dress, and I'll just be honest with you, she's not bad. You know, she's voluptuous. She has all the right curves. I can see this being distracting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she looks fantastic. Well, it might not be the same. Well, this woman she's a black woman. She looks fairly young, maybe in her early 30s. Long black hair, high heels. And I've seen multiple pictures of her posing with her Louis Vuitton bag, and it's almost like a fashion show. And I also find that in that setting, a school setting, to be unacceptable.
Right. And looking at it as just an outfit, like if she was going out with her girlfriends to a lunch or something like that, perfectly appropriate. It looks stunning on her. It's gorgeous. At school, however, it's not even what I would even call work casual.
No, she looks like if I saw her at the club, that's what I feel that she would be wearing. I don't even want to deem it the club. I think you said it correctly. If you're going out for brunch or, you know, maybe even a casual date, the attire is fantastic. She looks great. She's, you know, and she might be a fantastic teacher, but I think it's taken away from her ability to teach because you don't know what certain children have been exposed to what. So you have to kind of treat them all the same and wear something that is less, I guess, evening wear. Right.
And don't get me wrong. When I was in middle school, I had this middle school teacher, and he was hot. And he wore what you consider business attire. And the thing is, and I think this is the very big difference between men and women. When women wear business attire or semi-casual business attire to a school, it's less likely to cause controversy. But when men wear what I would consider business attire or business casual, it's us women, you know, like looking, you know, they're distracting. Whether they mean to or not, that's something very distracting. And as a middle school girl learning my way around that kind of avenue here, you know, and I think it's true for most girls growing up, we always had that one teacher. And then that song. Don't stand so close to me.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the teacher setting, because we live in a male-dominated world, is that we're more concerned about what the woman is doing because we want to control the women versus the man. The man is going to get less of a pushback if he's going out there and he's ripped, but he's wearing like a very tight button-up shirt. He's wearing slacks. It's fine, but you can see his bulge, and he's teaching, you know, high school girls and boys versus a woman wearing.
And that's just as distracting.
Yeah, correct, right? And I think the focus is weighed heavily on women and what they wear and kind of controlling them because look at her, she's sexualized and everything. And these little boys, you're so worried about the little boys, but you're not worried about the girls. So if this woman shouldn't wear this, then men should wear baggy clothes and less revealing bulge package, front and center clothing.
Exactly, because it is just as distracting, if not more so. And for men, it's even more dangerous for them to be looked upon as sexual. Because if a young teen girl should show any interest in that gentleman, that guy is instantly flagged as a predator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's not fair for him.
Yep.
So you can't wear anything without causing some kind of controversy. So instead of monitoring and basically saying, hey, look like a slob while you're teaching, they rather go after the women and say, hey, don't get those young boys all wild up with your, leisure wear.
Because you know how boys are. Boys will be boys. I hated that line. So that's almost like,
oh, that's so disgusting.
Excusing bad behavior. Because think about it. How many times I'm going to use myself as a reference, is if a boy got with a teacher, he's getting props. Wow, he pulled right. Miss So-and-so. If a girl got with a teacher, he's a predator, but also she's a whore. Because why? She's going to be demonized. And it's always weighing heavier on, the actions of a woman versus a male. Not to say that we don't have female teacher predators. Laterno comes to mind.
The most famous one.
Yep. I said it.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Back when I was in middle school and in high school, there was the infamous 6th grade teacher who seduced, according to the media, her student and ended up getting pregnant by said student. So here's the 7th grade kid impregnating his teacher. Right? And so she gets arrested. She's on the predator list and all that good stuff. She has the baby in prison and all that good stuff. And then a decade later, that boy, now a man, marries that teacher.
Yeah, Mary Kay Letourneau.
Exactly.
Yeah, she left her husband and her already kids. They got married. Matter of fact, she just kept getting caught with him, had kids by him, went to jail, got out, got married. They did split. I do believe she passed. Matter of fact, she did. She died July 6, 2020.
Wow. That's like the biggest scandal when it comes to that kind of behavior in the opposite direction. You hear it all the time with men, but when it comes to women, just like you said, one is very rare and unheard of. I think it's just not talked about. And then 2, like you said, it might not be talked about in that setting.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of cases, even recent, of women messing around with their male students. So there's been a lot of cases, but I think the biggest part of that is when women do it, they're doing it because they fell in love, per se. I mean, I guess I'm assuming at that point, but men do it because they're predators, and that's another assumption. That men would do it because they're predators and women would do it because they fell in love with this child, which is still weird. I mean, they're both wrong, but the reasoning behind it, people might be listening to this and be like, why would I say such a thing? But these are things that we're talking about to have other people come in and say, okay, I'm wrong. This is why I'm wrong. But the words that I'm using is what I feel currently of the reason why.
Right. I think they're both predators.
Yeah, they are. Definitely.
Whether or not they have this sensation of, I think, is love, both male or female, it's still disturbing in all of its references. I just personally, I just don't get it. It was one of those weird thought experiments. I was just like, oh, when it goes through their mind, and the minute I even had a second, I instantly wanted to end it. It's just
Yeah.
like that disturbed.
Yeah, I believe this is the world that we live in. It is definitely, as I said before, male dominated. But even with pregnancy, where they're regulating women's bodies, and men could have children until they die, versus women. There's a certain point in time where you're not able to have children. My dad was 60 when I was born. So when it comes to um, contraception, or not contraception, but contraceptives or preventative measures for pregnancy, I think if you want to regulate women's bodies, I'm all for having men's bodies regulated, because again, we could go out there and do some diabolical things just based off of our penis. You know, you can't force a
It's
vagina
kind of
into
funny you say
something.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's actually another episode that I'm planning on getting into
Ooh.
is a male purity culture.
Hmm.
Because there's plenty of female purity culture, but I think there's an underlying male purity culture that's not being talked about. But that will be for another episode. Right now, we're talking about if men are sexier at the gym than women because their athleisure wear is pretty much nothing.
Yeah, just some shorts and your bulge versus a
Or
woman
really,
two
uh,
piece.
yeah, which is literally fully covered. Yep, it's skin tight, but it has to be so they don't get injured when they do their routine.
Because hashtag men make it weird.
Yeah, hashtag make it weird.
I wonder if
Which
anybody's
actually
gonna
brings
think.
up this.
I wonder if anybody's gonna think that I'm just over here simping, because I'm definitely not. I'm just calling out the BS, because if women get accosted and booted out of gyms because they're wearing what they consider sexy, well then why is this dude with his Johnson all lifting the weights with him? Cover up, John.
Right. Well, it brings back to the idea that it's possible that it's a projection issue. They see something that arouses them, and instead of addressing what is causing the arousal, they project it onto something else that is considered socially appropriate.
Because they can't
So they
control
see
their
John.
emotions.
Exactly. You can't acknowledge the fact that you're a human and you're a sexual human.
Yeah.
And sexual humans get aroused.
Yeah. I can't do my 30 set with this lady over here wearing booty shorts. Well, maybe you should just focus on you lifting and not worrying about what she's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I gotta look caked up.
But it's also hard for women. And I'm talking about the idea that here you are trying to do your own set and you're wearing what you think is considered modest, and then this woman comes up, mind you, she's gorgeous, there's nothing wrong with her, and hey, let's say she's average, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's just an average everyday 140-pound woman, doesn't matter how tall or short, it's just average weight woman.
Mm-hmm.
But she's wearing skin tight outfits that aren't even appropriate for the gym, and what do you do with that? It's kind of like, ma'am, you're not at the beach. You're not at the Muscle Beach.
I mean, I guess I look at it like this, because it's been a very long time since I've gone to a gym. The last time I was at a gym was a home gym. But I would believe that there is a dress code. I wonder. I'm not sure, but I think it's safe to assume that there is some type of dress code. And if you're abiding by the dress code, then I don't think anybody should be bothered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, I guess that's easy to Google, depending on the gym that you're going to. But I would assume that there's a certain dress code.
I know that when I used to go to the gym, there was a dress code. And a lot of people abide by that, but it was mainly to prevent judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you were an overweight person trying to get fit, the attire you were wearing wasn't supposed to draw attention, and also if it did draw attention, those people weren't supposed to address it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, culturally, it's just one of those deals of, yet again, is, what does society deem appropriate and what's not? But also, if you deem it not appropriate, what are the actions that are acceptable? Do you go and tell this person, a woman, hey, what you're wearing is disgusting. Why are you here? Or do you just leave her alone?
Right. And that's actually the toughest part of it all, really, because women are taught in a culture of politeness, and a lot of that time that gets us killed.
Mm-hmm.
But this culture of politeness basically says that we are to not cause conflict. If we address to somebody, hey, what you're wearing isn't appropriate, it's disgusting, you need to stop wearing that, there's a risk of our safety.
Yeah. Well, most
so if
definitely.
I approached a man and said, hey, I see more than just your legs, buddy. I see you have a tripod going on.
Yeah, I'm glad you
might
noticed.
Cover that up.
I'm glad you noticed. This is where the male sensitivity comes into play. It's like, oh, she likes me. She noticed. Very easy.
Yeah.
Cheap date. Versus a woman, like, get away from me.
That's the thing too. There's this weird balancing act that needs to be done when it comes to not only what we wear, but how we say things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we wear something that's too distracting, or if we say something that's too insensitive, we risk the possibility of being, killed. And this whole unalive stuff, I
was going to say, speaking of, I had this conversation with my wife a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about women going out and just grocery shopping, looking their worst, where men will approach them more versus when they get dolled up and they get less attention or less accosted, right? And I said, because when you're looking rough, I feel that I have a chance. When you're looking your best, my chances in my brain go down because, oh, she's probably too good, or, she's probably stuck up. So that brings that number of a 10 down to, I guess, my level, whatever number that may be. And she was like, I never even thought of that. Like, yeah, you're way more approachable when, your hair is a mess and you're wearing a muumuu or whatever you're wearing that's not revealing. Yeah, I think I have a better chance versus, some stilettos and a short skirt and your hair did and your makeup nice.
But I also think that might be a cultural thing too.
Maybe. But when you say culture, would it be American culture, or would it be like white, black, Latino, Asian, or just American culture?
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking American culture, because depending on where you dress for, actually, I think heightens the possibility of being caustic, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if I go to the gym wearing what I consider gym attire, but I'm also wearing makeup, I'm also have my hair done in a way, I'm not 100% sure somebody would approach me.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I'm wearing, let's say I'm wearing leggings, but I'm wearing like a long baggy shirt, so it covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I look like I'm going to work out, am I going to be accosted less or more? And from what it sounds like from the study that you and your wife were discussing about the grocery store, is it possible that maybe these gym attires is providing that same level of approachable? Like, oh, she's wearing these really expensive Adidas leisure wear. She's obviously too expensive. I better step back. Whereas the woman who's wearing the leggings but has the shirt that's covering it, but it's still the leggings, but she looks, a little cheaper. Maybe that's more approachable.
Yeah. I mean, me, so I used to be a bouncer. I approached everybody, but
right.
There's been a lot of times where The girl that was wearing the least amount, not as dolled up, like in a gym setting, I kind of feel like you probably would be approached more. Like men are probably going to come over there and start mansplaining, like, "Hey, you're lifting wrong," versus this one lady that's wearing, again, what we would consider sexy wear at the gym, probably isn't going to be approached as much. But then again, I don't know, and I guess it depends on the area and the type of people that are going to that gym. But I would believe that it still stands. If you're wearing that baggy shirt and some leggings, you're probably going to get approached more.
I think you're right. I think that maybe it's possible that the whole complaint about, these women are wearing clothes that are far too revealing, might be a complaint that they can't approach them.
Ooh, yeah, maybe so. And then it's projection, because now they're looking at their wife or their girlfriend like, damn, she don't look like her.
Exactly. I better complain about how this woman in this gym is wearing these spandex shorts.
Yeah, how dare she come to the gym and look good? You're supposed to look ugly. Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
You're supposed to be looking like you're fit yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those deals where your environment also, because you might be somewhere where it just never happens, and then people are going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, versus somebody that's somewhere else, let's say a very high populated area where you're going to come across more people, and it's happening all the time.
So real quick, I would like to drop some history on leisure wear for men and when this all started. The whole ramrod of women wearing sports clothes and men wearing nothing until the 1970s. The 1970s is actually when the leisure wear started being a thing for men. And in particular, an excellent article by Daniel Fox, which was written for Men's Health back in January 10th of 2017, article known as How Your Work Outfit Clothes Changed in the Last 50 Years, is an excellent argument about how men's athletic wear has drastically changed in the only last 50 years, because in the last 50 years is when people started caring about what they wore. As for women's outfits, though,
does it explain why?
At all.
Did it explain why they started caring?
Yeah, basically it was the athletic trend. Basically the aerobic trends of the 80s was the real big turn. It was the polyester invention that really started doing the work. But then when the 80s hit, and you had Michael Jordan, and you had, who else? There was a couple of famous golfers that went through, and then there was a tennis player for Adidas.
Wait, what was up with Michael Jordan?
It's in the article. Yeah, Michael Jordan actually had a lot of influence in the fashion industry when it came to the way men wore their outfits outside of the gym.
Interesting. I know Allen Iverson changed a lot when it came to that, but then again, that was called gangster wear.
Right. It was not just Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was more for the shoes than it was for the attire. The attire was more, again, it was more of a hit during the 80s when the spandex and the short shorts and stuff like that started hitting.
Good old Richard Simmons.
Wore track suits. Was the most popular wear.
Ooh. Ugh, I can only imagine. I know basketball players,
and there's a couple of
their shorts were super short, tiny.
Oh, they were horrible. It's like it was hiding nothing. I bet the jock strap was invented just for that.
Oh, they definitely wasn't wearing jock straps playing basketball. Just flopping around all over the place, tucked.
Well, yeah, but that's another thing too. Um, uh, I don't even know what the cultural appropriate way to say it. So I'm just going to say it the old-fashioned way. When Black people started joining in sports, I'm sure that a lot of white men became very insecure, and a lot of fashion changed during that time because you can't really put short shorts on certain men.
You said it, I didn't.
I know I did.
Yeah, black people,
There's scientific proof for that.
black men specifically, are, well, not black men, black people in general, trendsetters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people follow black trends, music, culture, clothing. But yeah, a lot of rules were changed when, black people started being able to play with their white counterparts. You have a lot of history when it comes to like Jackie Robinson and what he went through, and just a whole the list is endless, but
Endless.
But yeah, I guess that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good topic. We will definitely have to write that down. I'm writing that down right now. That's going to definitely be in season 2. Let's see. Is it really all black and white?
What I've learned is that it's not. It's gray.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Black and... That's a good title for that discussion, actually.
Is it black and white?
Is it? Is it really though?
Yeah. I know, it's so funny.
That's another thing too.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I was just looking over my titles because I was gonna go back into doing my podcast, and I have all gingers are black. Vets going at each other over combat badges. The right versus left arguing about who is less patriotic. White people cosplaying as special forces, and some using digital blackface. Yeah, black people training tactically with white people in comments, being racist about it. The government saying they're going to do one thing and then completely the opposite. The two-way community, not all, but a lot, are begging the government to do away with the ATF. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these protections that they think are so discriminatory was protections for themselves.
Yeah. Just like with the
they
flag
wouldn't
burning.
exist anyway. Yeah, exactly. They just don't get it.
Nope. And you know what? I don't even think that they don't get it. I think it affects their comfortability because a lot of that started, I could be wrong when I say this, but I feel like a lot of that started during the Vietnam War because there's a lot of protest about that war. And, in 1989, the law was passed that it was an expression of the First Amendment of freedom of speech to burn the flag. So even with Trump writing this executive order, it doesn't do anything when it comes to the law. And there's a video circulating of Jolly Good Ginger, his friend. They were protesting, and his friend sets a fire to the flag. And this was a couple of days ago. Today is 8/27. I do believe this was on the 25th or whatever. And he went to jail. And and the first thing that I thought was, did he go to jail because Trump signed the executive order and he went to jail for burning the flag, or did he go to jail because he started a fire in a public setting or a park? And come to find out, that's what they dinged him with, not for burning the flag. But, here we are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
As they say, fuck your feelings, facts over feelings. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Nope, that's okay. This is rage bait. We're supposed to be angry.
And I've been trying to do really well with not cussing and saying disgusting language, but I forgot. I could have went to town.
Well, the truth is that they've actually done a study about people who curse fluently, and they've discovered that people who curse fluently tend to be more honest. So
yeah,
take away.
Yeah, no, I've been struggling with trying to figure out okay language. It is our first go, so maybe maybe it would invite more people in if they're not hearing a whole bunch of cuss words, because the next go is going to be like, what the fuck?
Right? Because the whole thing about rage bait really is to bring people out of their comfort zones gently
Mm-hmm.
and slowly.
And I mean, if people that know me, you know, somebody said that I am an opinionated person and I have strong views on things, which is true. But, you know, this go right now, I was just trying to do my best of keeping myself in line. But normally I would be talking about a lot of things about, you know, which would be considered rage bait, I guess, because if you are a person talking about you will punch somebody in the face over burning the flag, it's a big old fuck you. You know, come and fucking stop me. You know, or
Right.
I don't think, you know, this lady should wear this at the gym. It's a fuck you. Mind your fucking business. You know? And if you can't control your feelings when it comes to what somebody else wears, you need to check yourself. Because why is it such a concern? Yeah, why is it such a concern for you about what somebody else is wearing or what they do? Matter of fact, let's bring in Magic the Gathering for a second. A lot of people will be upset.
Now let's get into our club.
Yeah, a lot of people
get
upset when it comes to somebody playing with no sleeves. Why are you worried about what I do with my property? Like, why does that piss you off, what I do with my property? You didn't buy it. You don't own it. Mind your fucking business. But, you know, a lot of people
are like, have to name drop.
Go for it.
Yeah, but I forgot his name. That's the problem. I'm going to have to record his name later and add it to it. But one of the things he did that pissed off the community is he would purposely buy these expensive packs and he would like open them in the shower.
Ooh, so are you talking about Doggo Dude?
And he would open them. Huh?
Doggo Dude?
I think it was Doggo.
Does he wear glasses?
Right now he's on a big... He wears glasses. He has a pink microphone now.
That's Doggo Dude. Yep. Yeah, he does a lot of Beyblade. Dude. He was doing Beyblade for a moment, and then he was doing some comic book content. But yeah, a lot of people get upset and mad about that. Like, I got death threats because I cut a counterfeit card. Mind you, these people didn't read the description or anything, and they instantly said I shouldn't play Magic, I should kill myself, all this other stuff. And I was just like, this is amazing that not only was it a counterfeit card, but it pissed y'all off so much that I should just go kill myself over fucking cardboard and ink and colors and paper. But yeah, don't worry about what I do. People? Yeah, just like a lot of people. Okay, so no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then you have the people who are just absolutely over the moon in rage if you even bring up the idea of bringing a counterfeit to the table. Like, I have this beautiful masterpiece work of art card that's supposed to be a substitute for the real thing, and I want to play it in my deck because I can't afford the real thing.
Well, the issue...
And they just flip the table.
The issue with that is people still can't tell the difference between what is a counterfeit and what is a proxy. Because a counterfeit is meant to fool you. It's meant to look exactly like the real card. When it comes to a proxy, the proxy is not supposed to look like the real card, or there's supposed to be certain things on that card that will let you know that it's not the real thing. So, you know, somebody had posted a Black Lotus recently, and I explained the same thing to them, and they literally responded with, see, this is why I don't like proxies. I said, it's not a proxy, it's a counterfeit. Even if you mark the counterfeit with proxy and marker, it doesn't turn it into a proxy. It's still a counterfeit. It just has marker on it now. But, you know, people can't tell the difference still. I welcome it.
And then here's something I like to poke at people when it comes to the whole proxy argument. Wizards of the Coast has their own proxies. They're called secret layers.
See, okay, so I used to be a mod, right? And there was an argument about, same deal, is Wizards of the Coast having proxies. And I came out and I said they're not proxies because they came from Wizards of the Coast. They are They are high valued cards that you're not supposed to be able to play in sanctioned events. And then they changed the back. Matter of fact, they've been reprinting reserve list cards for a very long time. Back in the 90s, they came out with collector's editions and they came out with international editions. They had tournament decks that were reprinted and they had gold writing on it. And they changed the backs. But it was an argument of, you know, same thing that you had said, Wizards of the Coast puts out proxies. But if Wizards of the Coast are putting out real cards, you can't buy a fake card from Wizards of the Coast. Therefore, every card that Wizards of the Coast sells is a real card and should be able to be used in any event. So that was an argument. Yeah, exactly. Just like M30 came out and they said, well, you can't use these cards because the back is different. Okay, what about the cards that has dual sides that doesn't have a back at all?
Right.
So, yeah, that's an argument.
Yeah, they don't think. Oh, you know, if we're going to keep to topic, the Magic the Gathering, when it comes to the men are sexier at the gym, you know, their art back in the 90s was scandalous.
Yeah, you know what? In M30 again, they did not reprint.
Right.
God, I forgot the name of it. Oh, Earthbinding. They didn't reprint Earthbinding because they said it was too sexualized.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's actually just a woman being held down by vines.
Yes.
You don't really, you know, you don't have to look at it like that.
But they did. They said, oh, she's being bound.
They did.
That's, you know, S&M. Here we are. And they did not reprint it
That's
because of that.
S&M.
Yep.
Which is silly.
Yeah.
But there's I think Doggo did it best, actually, because he made an entire video about how many Magic the Gathering cards had dongs in them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there was a recent secret layer of the little devil that was on a spike. I think it was Stone Cold Serpent. And they literally drew a penis. There was literally a pee-pee. And they had to come back and they did different art for it because of that. Yeah. Matter of fact, I have the proxy of the card with the little penis. So it's like if they did it, they put it out there, I need it. Not because I like dicks, but you know, it's one of those deals where, you know, people aren't widely aware that happened. But there's a lot of flagellants in art. You know, there's penises everywhere.
Oh yes, it's, you know, it is quite amusing how often our culture just revels in the human form in all of its glory.
Somebody asked me.
It's only when we become, I'm sorry, I was going to say, it's only when we become sophisticated or civilized that the human form becomes disgusting. And that doesn't make any sense.
So what I was going to say was, somebody had asked years ago, why do men always feel that they have to show or talk about their penis? It's because men themselves have penis envy. And that's why you have a lot of men just offering it up for free. Here you go.
You know, that's another episode that I'm hoping to work on when I do the men, what is it? Purity culture, men's purity culture. Because the whole thing I want to argue about is the fact that the reason we have such, one, low birth rates, and two, why women, and you know, okay, so I pissed off an entire crowd when I say casual abortion, and they're like, there's no such thing, there's no such thing as casual, and I'm like, they're using it as birth control.
What is casual abortion?
Basically, it just means, in my eyes, it means that I become pregnant because all other contraceptives failed. I do not want to have this baby because it's inconvenient. I'm going to go take care of it so I don't have to worry about it later down the road.
Oh, like a one-night stand type of situation. Like, hey, I went out, had some fun, and then now I'm pregnant. I don't want that. I don't want that.
Exactly.
Oh, no. I look at it like this
And
myself when it
man,
comes to
I
abortion.
got through the coals with that one.
Oh, of course. I look at it like this: whether I believe abortion is right or wrong, I still feel that it is up to that individual to have the choice of getting one or not.
Right.
So I am definitely pro-choice, but also if it came to me, I have the choice to feel bad about abortion.
Right. And that's how I stand. It's not my place to tell somebody, hey, you shouldn't, you should carry this person, just because if it was me and I was the stupid one who made the mistake, I would carry it. That's the two differences. That's the difference between me having my own body and you having your own body.
Somebody explained it to me very well
carry
is why do women get that choice versus men? Because it took both of them to do it. I mean, we live in a new time where you don't even need that, but still. And somebody had said, because I have to carry around a thing that is feeding off of my body for at least 9 months. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a lot. I mean, I didn't give birth, but I helped the doctor deliver my daughter, and just watching Andrea go through it, and I was just like, I don't ever want to go through that. Like, nah, nope. How can anybody say that they enjoy being pregnant and giving birth? I mean, there's people out there that do.
It's a warrior's decision.
Yeah. And mind you, this woman did it with no, what is that? An epidural? Yeah, she did it. Epidural. Yeah, she did it with nothing. She didn't have nothing. No pills, no shot,
I was no
nothing.
Hero. Nope, I was no hero. I definitely did the epidural, but my son's head was too big. Ended up with an emergency C-section. So in the end, I would have had to have an epidural anyway.
Yeah. So. Oh, Andrea, she got torn when she gave birth to. Matter of fact, both of her daughters. Yeah, she was torn. Yep.
That's awful.
And I watched all of this, and I was
that's
like,
hard.
Not me. I had it bad enough. I was rocking off of like 2 hours sleep, and yeah, her water broke at about, I'd like to say 1 a.m. I went to sleep at like maybe 11. Yeah, about 11 o'clock at night. And then she woke me up, and then we headed to the hospital, and she didn't give birth until about 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yep. Fun times.
It's pretty good. Fun times.
Yeah.
Mine was a full 24 hours. I started at midnight with the contractions and the water breaking and all that good stuff. And then I was in the hospital by 3 in the afternoon, and I had an emergency C-section 1 a.m. the next day.
Wow. We're at the 58 mark.
Yeah, that was yes, we are. I guess we should wrap it up.
That's what she said. Y'all heard it, folks.
That's what she said.
Never raw and uncut.
Oh.
Well, it was enjoyable.
So, yeah.